Human Again is a very special song for us. In fact, we knew it was a song in the movie that had to tell a lot of story. And I think the best way to explain that is to show you a clip of what the Human Again sequence looked like really early in the process. Now, picture this. We were sitting in the studio many, many years ago, and a cassette tape arrives, and we hear Howard Ashman and Alan Menken singing all the parts on Human Again. And we start out with a blank piece of paper, and our brilliant story artist set to illustrating that and trying to figure out what's going on during that song. Then we shoot those story sketches, put it to the rough demo track that we get from Howard and Alan, and we have a sense of what that song might be like. So here's exactly that version of Human Again, really early on, the demo and the rough story sketches. Let's take a look.
What you're about to see is the full-length story reel version of Human Again. And what this is taken from are the sketches of the animators, and then they're put on storyboards and they film those in sequence. When we first see them, we see them actually on the board, and they go with a pointer from point to point, playing the song and saying, okay, is this point in the song? Is that point in the song? Is that point in the song? And afterwards, we'll look at it and we'll go, well, I always thought that when they're singing those lines, that's not what's happening there. No, I love what you're doing there, but now that you're doing that there, how about if I change what I'm writing? And so it's a real powerful tool for us as writers.
Bless my soul, dare I say it? I think they're starting to like each other.
She merely dressed his wound, Mrs. Potts. Nothing to get steamed up about.
Yes, but the way she dressed it, kind and gentle, and the look in her eyes.
Ah, oui, my friends. The day we have waited for may be at hand.
If only that were true, Chandel.
Ah, human again.
Human again.
Yes, think what that means. I'll be cooking again, be good looking again, with a mademoiselle on each arm. When I'm human again, only human again, poised and polished and gleaming with charm. I'll be courting again, chic and sporting again,
Which should cause several husbands alarm.
I'll hop down off this shelf and to sweet be myself. I can't wait to be human again.
When we're human again, only human again, when we're knickknacks and whatnots no more. When we're human again, good and human again.
Ah, Cherie, won't it all be top drawer? I'll wear lipstick and rouge,
And I won't be so huge. Why, I'll easily fit through that door.
I'll exude savoir-faire, I'll wear gowns, I'll have hair, it's my prayer to be human again.
Tick-tock, the time goes, the days pass, the cock crows. They keep getting closer, well, don't they? Tick-tock, the time flies, a full moon, a sunrise. They keep drawing nearer and nearer together. And as they draw nearer, the day draws near too. The day we've been waiting so long for is due.
Chortle again. When I've got one, will I thumb my nose? I'll say sorry, my dear, this old dame's out of here.
Though you'll visit sometimes, I suppose.
Won't the world be in tune on that swell afternoon coming soon when we're human again? So sweep the dust from the floor. Let's let some light in the room. I can tell someone might break the spell any day now.
Shine up the brass on the door. Alert the dust pail and broom. If it all goes as planned, our time may be
the tears and throw them away. Human again, only human again. When the girl finally sets us all free, cheeks of human again, we're a human again. We'll resume our long lost jollity. We'll be playing again, holidaying again, and we're praying it's ASAP. Little push, little shove, we could wish fall in love, and we'll finally be human again.
Clouds pass, the sun dial, the days move, and meanwhile they keep getting closer. Well, don't they? Stand still, the hourglass, the moon's wane, the sun's past, an evening, a morning, a week intervenes. They keep getting closer, you know what that means.
And when Guinevere heard that Arthur was slain, she stole away to a convent, and no one could ever make her smile again. The end.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh, see here! That's entirely enough of that. Now back to your duties. Come on, back to work.
Belle, do you think you could teach me
To do what?
that?
To read? You never learned?
Just a little. Long ago.
Well, at least we'll have something to start with then. Come here. Sit by me.
Tick-tock, the time goes, the days pass, the cock crows. Tick-tock, the time goes, the days pass, the cock crows. Tick-tock, the time goes, the days pass, the cock crows. Tick-tock, the time goes, the days pass, the cock crows. Tick-tock, the time goes, the days pass, the cock crows.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
Now, animation is a real hand-done craft. The animator sits at a drawing board and he or she draws 24 drawings a second of the Beast or Lumiere. But I think if an animator drew all those, it would take forever to make a film. So quite often the animator will do just extreme poses and assistants will fill in the rest, or people called in-betweeners fill in the in-between drawings. All that work is done on pencil and paper and shot under a camera where you get a chance to see how the action's working. So here's some terrific animation from all of the different characters in Beauty and the Beast in their earliest phase. Let's take a look. Glenn Keane animated these drawings of the Beast when he first is seen by Belle, and then Mark Henn had to animate Belle's reaction, and Ruben Aquino animated Maurice, who was trapped in the dungeon. When you look at these drawings, you realize how different animators have different handwriting, and Glenn's drawings look very different from Mark Henn's drawings, which look very different from Ruben's drawings. And yet those three actors have to appear together in the same scene as though one person drew them. The character design of the Beast was a funny thing. He had to be gruff and angry, like in this scene. He had to appear like he was a monster, a big animal. And yet in other scenes, he had to fall in love. He had to be sweet. You had to see into his eyes that inside was the soul of a human being. So this animation had to be very rangy, and this was the part of the film where he could really show his animal side when Maurice came into the castle for the first time. The funny thing about animation is you might think that it's about moving the character around, and sometimes the best animation is not moving the character, giving the character a sense that he's really thinking, and certainly that's the case on this scene where you get a feeling that the Beast, even in these rough drawings, is really thinking somewhere inside there, and that helps the audience believe that it's a living, breathing beast. And once again, Glen Keane animates these very simple, expressive drawings and goes through a range of emotions, but not a lot of movement. He starts very thoughtful, and the beast gets very wistful, and then at the end, very happy. And he doesn't move around a lot. And those drawings express a wide range of emotions with just a very few scribbles on a piece of paper. And it's really the art of the animator at their best. A simple scene like this, you might think, well, that just takes a half hour or something to do. And what you're looking at in this take of the beast is probably a couple days worth of work. It's not only the rough animator's job, but also the work of the cleanup artist to add all the detail on the characters down to the highlights in the eyes that create a feeling of this character living and breathing on the screen. So it gives you a new appreciation for how much work goes into a scene as simple as this one. James Baxter was the lead animator on Belle, and here you can see his beautiful animation. Again, it's very rough and expressive, and you see a lot of the underdrawing and scribbles that it took to create the character. But she feels completely alive and plausible as a character on the screen. Nick Ranieri had the unenviable job of animating a candelabra. We had never done that in Disney animation before, and his drawings of Lumiere, along with Jerry Orbach's voice, were really wonderful in creating a new character, a character made out of these anthropomorphic objects. And it's another thing that a Disney animator can do so well, take a clock, a teapot, and candelabra and breathe life into them. And certainly Nick did that with Lumiere. Ruben Aquino animated Maurice, Belle's father, and this is a scene where he first realizes that these objects are enchanted, that he's in a beautiful castle, but it's not just populated by a beast. There's also incredible talking teapots and teacups in this place, and it's an interesting reveal. He realizes halfway through drinking this cup of tea that it's alive. Now here the animator had to create a sense of moving through space, sometimes in the Z-plane, in and out of the screen to get a feeling of Belle running away from camera, sometimes moving from right to left with the background panning behind. And it's done in very simple, subtle ways with camera moves and drawings that move to give the feeling that the characters are walking down a hallway. You'll notice too in a scene right towards the beginning that Belle has small triangles drawn on her cheeks. These were added by the cleanup artists, and later in our post-production process, those will be painted a light pink color and blended to create a rosy rouge color on her cheeks. Here Nick Ranieri animates the line course by course, one by one, and it's the big kind of pullback where the band slows down and Lumiere is going to really put on a show and really show Belle this big finale of all the dancing teacups and silverware and show them what they can do. One thing you notice when you look at a clip like this is all the layering that goes into a sequence. Quite often by different animators. Cogsworth might have been animated by one person and the Feather Dusters by another, and in the background you see some early computer graphics of the chandelier turning with dancing forks on it. Here again you see the many layers that put a scene together, not only Cogsworth, but all the bottles of champagne. The special effects artists have roughed in some champagne up in the air, the computer graphics in the background, the chandelier and the forks. And it gives you a sense of all this activity going on in the big finale of Be Our Guest. To me, great animation is some of the greatest art of our day. I think our animation at its best is very moving and sometimes spiritual, like the transformation of the beast into a human being. And certainly Glen Keane's work at the end of the film when he was trying to find a way to get across not only the physical transformation of the beast, but also the spiritual transformation of what this character had to go through in a series of scenes was a very difficult thing to do with pencil and paper. I know he was nervous about it. He studied, he went to the art museum, and he would draw Rodin sculptures and Michelangelo and copy and try to get a feeling of the great master's drawings. And I think in the history of animation, this little sequence will go down as one of the great icons of character animation. And it's a tribute to great storytelling, certainly, but the artistry of Glen Keane. Here's Glen's rough character animation, pencil on paper. You can see the sweat and the tears that went into the work, and it gives you a sense of the passion that he had for creating this scene.
Of course I came back. I couldn't let them... Oh, this is all my fault. If only I'd gotten here sooner.
Maybe it's better. It's better this way.
Don't talk like that. You'll be all right. We're together now. Everything's going to be fine. You'll see.
And at least I got to see you one last time.
Please don't leave me. I love you. It is you.
Cogsworth! Oh, Mrs. Potts! Look at us!
Mama! Oh, my goodness!
It is a miracle!
Oh.
When we build a virtual set or a computer graphics set for a sequence like the ballroom, we start out by architecturally creating that space. And then the next step was we select where the camera is going to be in that space. And that's what you're going to see next. It's the first rehearsal, as it were, of how the camera is going to fly past the chandelier and down to the level of Belle and the Beast dancing. Once that camera angle is established with stand-ins, with little crude representations of Belle and the Beast, then we can turn it over to the animator and have him or her turn that into beautiful animation that will be dancing on that moving stage. So here's the first rehearsal of what the camera might look like in that virtual computerized ballroom.
Now the one prepared, Beauty and the Beast. Ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Tale as old as time, tune as old as song, bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong. Certain as the sun, rising in the east, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast.
There are certain moments in a film that you get a chance to animate that you feel like, gosh, I was born for this moment, and this I really can't wait to get to do this moment. And I was thinking about that as long as I saw this transformation moment with the Beast, the moment he was going to reveal who he was inside. And I couldn't wait to get to that day, to animate it. And it was, you know, you save dessert till the end. Well, the problem is, if the restaurant's closing in 5 minutes, come on, you gotta eat that dessert and get out. You know, that's how it got to the end of the film. It's like, I've got 1 week and I've got, this is the moment, this is what I was born for, and I don't have time to animate it. And I went to Don Hahn, I said, Don, your schedule is that I've got to animate this moment here, and I got to do it in a week, and there's no way that I can give it what I feel like I have to. And he said, Glenn, look, forget it. Just do whatever it is that you feel, forget the deadline, just take the time that you need to make that. I mean, I really needed to hear that from him. It's the permission to go full speed, and to put your whole heart into it. So I left work and I went over to the Norton Simon Museum in Pasadena and looked at these sculptures of Rodin, the Burghers of Calais. Oh, they're just these men. They're more than men. They're souls with iron, and you could see deep into their eyes and their hands. Everything was powerful with these. And so I was doing these drawings of their arms and their faces, and I came back to work with all these drawings. I put those up, and then I was looking at Michelangelo's sculptures of the slaves, that are slaves being freed, but he left them in the stone. So they're partly sculpted coming out of the stone, so they're not quite broken out of their bonds. And looking at those were really setting the foundation for me, what I wanted to say. And as I started animating it, I realized that for me, it's really an expression of my spiritual life. There's a verse in the Bible that says, if any man is in Christ, he's a new creation. Old things have passed away, and all things have become new. And I wrote that on my exposure sheet there as I'm drawing this, because it's really about a spiritual transformation that's taking place with the Beast. And I saw it as a parable of my own life, that I got to express that. And it was sincere, it was real for me. It was very real for the prince. I mean, I don't know that there's ever an illustration more clear as to what really can take place in a person's life spiritually than this animated character transforming from an animal to the prince.
What you're about to see is the original 1991 music video of the pop version of the song Beauty and the Beast. Recording the song and shooting the video with the fantastic Peabo Bryson is one of the great memories of my career, and I always enjoy seeing it again. I hope you will too.
It can be
just a little change, small to say the least, but a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast, ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, and ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Till as old as time, tune as old as song, bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong, certain as the sun, rising in the east, till as old as time, song as old as time, beauty and the Beast, till as old as time, song as old as rhyme, beauty and the
Early in the process, we're struggling with how to communicate our movie to the world outside the studio. That means when the movie comes out, people will make books and toys, and even within the studio, a lot of our executives and people that work on the movie need to know about the film they're going to make. So here's a reel that we cut together very early in the process with some music, some story sketches, some visual development art, and character designs that can give the viewer a sense of what Beauty and the Beast might be. Some of it doesn't look anything like the final movie, but it gives you a feeling for the magic and kind of the world we were trying to create with Beauty and the Beast. Here's that early promotional reel.